So please give Simon a big round of applause.
Afternoon, everybody.
See, that's right.
Thanks for that prompt. Is everyone having a good time?
Yeah.
Yay, good. Right, yes, we're going to talk about building mobile apps with PHP. Why the hell would we want to do that? Let me make sure I don't trip over my stuff. First of all, this is me, if you couldn't tell. This is my first time speaking at PHP UK, so thanks for making me welcome. Yeah. I'm a software engineer, if I can call myself that. Still these days, I do think of myself as a PHP enthusiast. Been doing it for a long time. Things are changing fast, right? Our times are maybe numbered, who knows? But the last couple of years I've been working on this project. I've been really excited by what I'm doing. I'm learning lots of new things and meeting lots of new people. One of them is this handsome fellow who's my business partner, co-founder, Shane. So we've been working on this project together. Now you can build all of this stuff, which I hope to show you today if the demo gods will let me. And just thinking about all of the changes that are happening to our careers, to our industry, I realized that when we boil it down, actually, I'm not a software engineer, I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer. I am all of those things, but fundamentally, I am an agent of change. And this is what I feel in my core about myself. And this is what I want to give to every PHP developer, every engineer really, but that you have the power, the tools, the ability, and the time to make important changes in the world. And that's what I like this quote from a very, very genius scientist called Rick Sanchez. I don't know if you know who Rick Sanchez is. So there's going to be a few references to Rick and Morty throughout this. PHP is an excellent choice as a language to use today for all sorts of things, this included. Why? Because it's fast. You might argue it's not fast compared to other languages and performance and all of these other things, but when you think about PHP and how you use it, it's fast to build, it's fast enough to execute, and when you put those two things together, it's fast to iterate. And that means that you can make changes to things very, very quickly. And I don't mean just the code. PHP has changed the world, and it isn't done yet. And here's another way that it's going to do it. PHP on mobile. That's what we're talking about. And I'm talking about not a thin layer of web stuff that's calling out to servers. I'm not talking about compiling or transpiling PHP code or other code that you generate from PHP and turning that into a native app. I'm talking about truly native apps with PHP, written in PHP, built with PHP. So I'll call it Pickle PHP. I'm Pickle PHP. Yeah. If you've seen that episode of Rick and Morty, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't, I'm sorry about that. I say it again. PHP is great for this. When you think about PHP as a language, what's its role in the system that you build? Does it handle requests? No. That's usually a web server. What is PHP really doing? PHP is like this glue that sits in between all of these systems, right? It's a wrapper around C. It makes it more memory safe and more approachable and easy to change. So PHP has got this very neat spot in between all of these things to bring it all together. And fundamentally, we're not changing how PHP behaves to do what I'm going to talk about next. In fact, we take away some of the things that we're typically using. So in this environment, there is no web server at all. We're not using some new build target and trying to figure out how to make this like cross-platform. We're actually building PHP, we're compiling PHP for iOS and for Android separately, and it runs natively on those devices. And this, as I said, it's not a thin wrapper, it's not just you're outputting HTML that's got JavaScript and manifests and things that can run on a phone using other APIs that the phone provides. It is actually running PHP on the device. Cool. Isn't that cool? You think it's cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, why would you want to do this? There's a lot of philosophical answers to that question. I'm going to talk about the technical ones. There is an old way, I'm going to call this the old way, maybe that's unfair, but there's an old way of doing this, which is writing lots of code in languages that you maybe don't know yet, or in working in ecosystems that you're not familiar with yet. I'm not saying you should avoid doing those things, by the way. Like, it's perfectly fine to go and learn new languages and learn new ecosystems. Go and do that. It's a great experience. But you don't have to now. That's kind of the point, is there is a new way. And the new way, the native PHP way, is using all of the tools that you already know. So PHP, obviously, that's what we're here for. Composer, Laravel. It is built on Laravel at the moment. That is how it works. We'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, then you have this one code base. You can run from whichever platform you prefer to run, and you can run it on any device you want to run. And you can use your favorite tools. I wrote a note here that says you don't need Xcode and Android Studio. Technically, you do need them, but the good thing is you don't have to use them. Native PHP helps you escape all of that, which is fantastic. Right. How does it work? There are a lot of pieces. I could go through all of these in great detail, but I'm just going to say magic. It didn't actually do the thing that I wanted it to do. Oh, come on. Well, that's really annoying because I have a very nice animation that has clearly broken. But the word magic was supposed to appear and lots of confetti, but that's sad. Damn you, Claude. These are it's not magic, actually. They're very smart pieces. They've all sort of combined thanks to a lot of effort and work. But the thing is that you can, when you bring all of that together, it is like bringing magic and science together. And when you have both of those things together, you can create something fantastic. So what we've got is this very, very easy to use, very approachable way of building mobile applications. In this case, you can see it's just like very little PHP code, and we'll see what that actually looks like in a minute. But you can use everything that you're already familiar with in the tools that you're using, like routes and controllers and models and views and events and your favorite front-end stuff, React, Vue, etc. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, which is cool. And it does a lot of stuff today. Not everything. It could do a lot more. It will do a lot more in the future, but it already does all of these things, and they're very easy to use. As you can see, again, it's just a few simple classes and calls in PHP, and we're getting access to the native features of the device. You can actually test all of the features out that we've got today by going to nativephp.com, downloading our demo app, our kitchen sink app. It's got everything in there that we can do right now. and you can try it out on your phone. Or you can even build your own app in just a few minutes and test all of those features out completely for free on your own phone using a new app that we've built called Jump, which I'm going to demo for you in a moment. I think this is a great developer experience, and you're not writing loads of code, you're not having to think too hard about all of the different platforms and programming languages and all of that kind of thing. It's taken care of for you. It's a high-level abstraction over a whole bunch of complexity that you don't want to have to worry about. And we can do it from JavaScript too. So we package this up in a very nice JavaScript layer. So if you're using Vue or React or Svelte or whatever you want to use in JavaScript, you can access all of these native features from that directly also. So it feels just like you're building a web application because you're writing the code that you normally build for web applications, but now you're actually interacting with native features. So you might say, well, this is all just a web view. You're right, it is in a web view at the moment, but there is more to it. Will this go to the next? Okay. It is a lot more than just wrapping HTML, JavaScript, and CSS and stuffing it into a web view inside of a native application. We're using everything that PHP has available. We're running that on the device, as we've said. That means it's completely offline. It's not dependent. It can be independent of the network entirely, which means you can build really rich applications that work without the network. We've got a local database that we set up for you. So SQLite just works straight out of the box. If you're familiar with Laravel, you'll know Eloquent, and you can interact with that database using Eloquent. You can interact with it using whatever database drivers you want to use within PHP, and just write SQLite, and it's going to work. So you've got full, robust database management stuff going on there, which is a great place to store data when you're trying to sync, maybe waiting for the user to come online again, etc. But the really exciting stuff that I think is compelling about this is we have native UI, not just the web view. And we also have a plugin system. So you can expand upon the features that we've got and take it to another level, wherever you need to go next. So let's have a look at those in a little bit more detail. This is what it looks like to write native UI in native PHP. We call this Edge. This is our element definition and generation engine. And if you're familiar with Laravel and Blade, this might look very friendly to you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it looks like HTML. It's basically that, right? This is very straightforward. Hopefully you can see quite easily that there are a few key components here being created, like a top bar and a bottom navigation, and they've got icons and they've got URLs. These aren't going to render as web elements inside the web view. We pull these out and we show them as native components. We use the device's own rendering engine to render its own native components using this syntax. How do we do that? It is just a Blade template that sits on top of our Edge compiler. Let's call it that. It's a very thin layer that just extracts the component data and turns it into JSON. And we pass that JSON over to the native application. And in the native application, we've built a mechanism that's very similar to server-driven UI. If you've ever done that in a native application, it's where you fetch instructions about what the UI should look like from your server, and then the UI gets rendered dynamically, effectively, from that. We're doing all of that, but we're doing it on the device, so there's no need to hit the server just to get that. There's no custom rendering because we're using the device's own rendering. So it's very fast, very performant, memory safe, etc. There's no complex compilation. We're not trying to do a bunch of work ahead of time. We're not transpiling anything, as we said. And because of that, there's no real runtime overhead. Like we're making JSON, which is very, very quick in PHP to do, and we're parsing that JSON on the native side. Again, it's very fast. So it's very good. It's very fun. Well, again, we'll see that in a moment. And then there's our plugin system. So if you need to access a native API that we don't currently have as a plugin yet, you can do it. You can write Swift or Kotlin or any other native code that you want and package that up into a plugin, which you can then register into your application. It will get bundled in, compiled correctly with the native application. And if you've configured it, we instruct you on how to do all of this stuff. It's in the docs, and we've got scaffolding and tools to help. But if you've followed those instructions and you set up this, it is like a manifest, we call it a native php.json file in your plugin, then your PHP code, which you also include in the plugin, like this, will be able to call the native code that you've written. And then your native code can do anything that you want it to do. And these get packaged up just as a composer package. So whatever way you install your composer packages, you can install native PHP plugins. And yeah, because they're so easy to build, so easy to use, the community is creating these now very rapidly. We've got dozens of plugins coming. And we've created a marketplace for plugins, so people can come. You can find them on Packages if people produce open ones. I encourage you to, create some free and open source stuff this way. It'd be cool. We've got a bunch of our own that are free and open source. They are on Packages, but we've created this marketplace on nativephp.com so that we can bring them all together into one place, so that you can see all of the packages that are available, all of the plugins that are available for native PHP. We're also encouraging people to write plugins that they want to sell, because it's a lot of work building these things, and they have a premium value to them. So consider that. Don't shy away from selling your work. You can come and do that through our marketplace. I'd love to have that. Yes. So we also have a plugin dev kit. That's for people who actually like using Claude code. So if you're into that and you want to write plugins very, very quickly, then come and check out that dev kit, because that's going to help you get things moving way faster. Mm-hmm. So we have given the pickle arms. We've taken this thing which PHP on a mobile phone on its own wouldn't be too hot. It's cool, but it wouldn't do very much. And we've powered it up. We've given it superpowers. There is no catch. It is just PHP. It's Laravel. It runs on your phone natively. You can ship this to the app stores today. Plenty of people already doing that. And yes, Apple does allow it, surprisingly. There are already dozens of apps on the store, and I'm aware of a lot more that are coming. So don't hold back. Ship your apps today. Let's actually have a look at how this works. I've got a few minutes, I think 10 minutes. So I'm going to try and demonstrate this for you with my actual phone. And hopefully the Wi-Fi will let me do that. As you can see, it's very straightforward to create a project. There's one command from Composer or Laravel New, if you prefer that, to create your new project, and then one more command to actually get it running. So let's see if I can do that right now. There's the command. Pixel Blue Magile. I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. But hopefully a fairly quick process to just get this running. Where did my phone disappear to? That's not fun. Come back. Oh, unavailable. Great. You are unlocked. Oh, don't do this to me. It was working. It was working fine. Dun, 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 dun. No, don't do that. I don't know how that's connecting because it's not plugged in. I can't really see the menu here, but maybe there's like a new do it over Wi-Fi thing, and I don't want it to do that. Never do that. Nah, try one more time. If this doesn't work, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Gosh. Well, that sucks. Why does it come up when I unplug it? That's super backwards. Okay. I'm going to show you on my actual phone here, which none of you are going to be able to see, which is very sad, but at least you'll see that it does kind of work. It might be because I'm presenting. I think that might be the reason. Damn you, Apple. What did I call this? My mobile app. And the command was effectively this: native jump. And I'll run that. Maybe this will appear on the wrong screen. I'm going to do it on an iOS device. If this appears in the wrong place, I shall bring it in front of everybody. Yes, it did. Good. So that's what that produces. It's a nice QR code. Now, wait a second. Something wonderful has happened. There it is. Just in time. So, magical. Right, this is the Jump app. So I'm not going to give you a massive demo of this. Is that the best place to see it? Maybe if I move it over there, is that a bit clearer? I don't know. I'm using this tab at the bottom that says Dev. That's for my local development environment. I'm just going to click this plus button on, or tap, that's the right expression. Tap the button on the top right to add this application that I've just created onto my phone and run it on my phone. So plus, and it comes up with the camera. So then I need to scan that code. I'm not going to scan it there because that clearly doesn't work. Few seconds. Do. And that's it. And this is a very basic starter kit. It's just, it doesn't have anything really demonstratable, but that's now a Laravel application running natively on my phone. I haven't had to do any provisioning. I haven't had to do any development. This isn't even set up in developer mode, this phone. This is just running now natively on my phone. I could disconnect it from the Wi-Fi and it would still run, etc. And I can tap into all of the native features that native PHP offers with an app like this. I'm going to go out of this one and show you one that does that. I won't do it with that application, but we've got here our kitchen sink apps, which I was talking about earlier on. And we have all of these features. This is PHP. This is using Vue, and it's great. It's really fast. And I can do all sorts of stuff like recording a video. Let's say hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Very good. I'll try not to delete this. And I think it was this one, right? 12:55. Yes, let's go. I don't think we'll get audio. No. Good. It works. there's a lot more native features. Obviously, I'm not going to spend the last few minutes of this talk going through all of those, but that's our demo. So you can see it's very straightforward to get going with native PHP. Yeah, another cool tagline. So where are we? What's coming up? Native PHP for mobile only came out last year. I announced it at Laracon EU in February last year, and we launched it as a paid package. And just 2-3 weeks ago, we decided to open source it. So now it's an open source package. It's completely free to use, and we've got a lot of things on the roadmap that we want to do. Things like background tasks, which it doesn't have right now, but is in the works, where you'll be able to use PHP to run background activity like syncing and things whilst the user's still doing stuff with the UI, which would be great, and even running when the app is in the background, not just whilst the user's doing other stuff with your app in the foreground. We've seen some of we didn't actually look at that. That's my bad, because I wasted time faffing with the stupid technology. But the native UI, where you could see the liquid glass and all of these kinds of things. Mostly at the moment, that's just navigation elements that we've got, but we want to expand on that massively. Like obviously the app, the operating systems provide a lot of rich user interface elements, and we can tap into all of those and build UIs fully natively without the use of a web view. So at some point, hopefully this year, we're going to be breaking away from the web view entirely, allowing you to just declaratively build your UI using Blade or something very similar to that, and have fully reactive and etc. native UIs. That's going to be very cool. It's fun to play with. And another big question I think that we get a lot about this is performance, like, oh, it's PHP, isn't it going to be slow and blah, blah. It's actually really fast. We're going to make it even faster. The sort of request response cycle that we're seeing at the moment takes about 100 milliseconds, which is actually fast enough according to Apple. Why did that do that? For user interface elements, but we want to get it quicker. We've got some proof of concepts that bring it down to 10 milliseconds. So we know that we can make this really, really good for building cool experiences. And yeah, lots of goodies coming from that. So thinking about PHP and our experience with PHP in our careers, is it gonna go on? Is it gonna last forever? Well, PHP didn't need to run on mobile phones. The fact that it can and that it does is extraordinary. So I think that this pickle will go on forever. We would like to go on forever working on this project. So Shane and myself are the two maintainers. We're working full time on this. We're not backed by huge organizations with lots and lots of money. Please help us to keep on working on it. As I said, we've open sourced it now. We've got sponsorships, we've got partnerships. We would love to hear from you. Come and speak to me after this if you're interested in any of that, or if you've got any questions about this. We do have some commercial products. We do sell some premium plugins. We do have a SaaS offering that helps build applications, but we don't require anybody to use those. We don't force anybody to pay for that. If you can help with, if you can use those, if they're useful to you, that will help us continue supporting this project as well. And of course, just contributing. Now that it's open source, we hope that you will have a look at the project, try it out, just take a few minutes to have a play on a weekend, maybe. I don't want to force you to work on the weekend, but just have a little bit of a play. It only takes a few minutes. And if you spot something that you don't like or that you think could be better, come and contribute some code. Help us out. That would be great. That is it. You've made it to the end. Well done. If you have any questions, as I said, happy to answer those. And yeah, I would love to chat. Whether you think this is a good idea or you think it's a bad idea, you love it or you hate it, I want to hear from you. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Simon. We actually do have a few minutes for questions. I know you can smell food. Calm down. But the lunch break is 90 minutes, so this will just bring you queue for slightly less time because I think some of the other talks have already exited. So I've got 3 questions that came through on Slack. So we'll just ask Simon those if you're okay to give us some answers.
I'll try.
First question. Does native PHP have the ability to use things like Apple HealthKit? And if that's not possible, can you write a plugin in something like Swift?
Yeah. So there was that one slide about plugins where I said you could build anything. And that is exactly true. We haven't got a plugin right now that does HealthKit, but you absolutely can build a HealthKit plugin, and that wouldn't take very long at all.
So there you go. Challenge for someone here. I won't read the name out to shame you, but a challenge to go and build a HealthKit plugin this weekend. Next question. Are there plans to provide the ability to make local first apps out of the box, such as with plugins or drivers?
The apps are local first already. So I don't think you would need a plugin or driver to do that. I think what that question's getting at more so, correct me if I'm wrong, is actually managing synchronization and helping when you have got a server client set up and you want to do these more complex environments, which it doesn't have any of that at the moment, but that is something that I'm working on actively right now. So we want to get to the point where it's basically turnkey for you to deploy a server, an API server effectively, and have the syncing all working locally, which will be very, very cool.
Amazing. That's a good one. So next question. Someone is asking if they can have the QR code for the app you built. They could probably come over to you to find out how to access Jump afterwards.
Yeah, everything's on nativephp.com. So just head to nativephp.com and you'll find all the links there.
Cool. And final question. Have you yet built support for in-app purchases?
Again, no, not yet, but I know that there are at least 2 people working actively on plugins to enable that right now. So I expect that will come out very, very soon.
Cool. Okay, well, that's all the questions we have. So please give Simon another round of applause.